collectively shaken. Expert teams from around the world convened emergency meetings overnight to discuss this phenomenon. Some recognized the terrifying potential profits this held and grew envious, seeking out Zhang Yi for collaboration and the like. Chapter 119. The other party has declined your request. Ruihue Group, a pharmaceutical giant rivaling Johnson Group in global stature. Following the incident, the entire Ruihue Group executive team convened immediately. After intense deliberation, the final decision was made. They must collaborate with the Kingdom of Yamen at any cost to jointly promote this new drug. This would allow them to reap profits while further expanding their global influence. As for the terms, they were willing to accept whatever terms Yamen proposed, as long as they remained within acceptable limits. Even if it means taking a slight loss, they should consider accepting. This applies not only to Ruihue Group. Global pharmaceutical giants such as Royalty, Sanofi, AstraZeneca, AbbVie, Novartis, and Merck are all exploring innovative approaches. They are all exploring ways to discussing collaborations with Yamen. But they didn't know. Zhang Yi had already decided from the start who he would partner with. That was Longhua. Zhang Yi wouldn't consider other private enterprises, nor would he partner with any unfamiliar companies. The business world is like a battlefield. When you can partner with legitimate entities, it's best to steer clear of shady deals, even if the other party offered greater profits. Moreover, the larger the conglomerate, the more susceptible it is to being controlled by the nation behind it. So rather than calling this a business war, in a certain sense, it's also a game between nations. Clearly, in this regard, the Dragon Nation stands as the optimal partner, no contest. Leaving the laboratory, Su Jinghua led Zhang Yi to the lounge. Both sides cut to the chase. Zhao Shuang couldn't hide his excitement. Zhang Yi, let's talk. How exactly do we proceed with this collaboration? Zhang Yi stated his requirements. First, I know that within the Dragon Nation, there are a large number of Alzheimer's patients. The numbers speak for themselves. With a population of 1.4 billion, the number of patients is naturally high. You'll act as my agent, managing domestic sales operations. I'll handle supply exclusively. Regarding profits, I take 80%. Additionally, you'll cover all transportation and other associated costs. This. Zhao Sheng and Lu Wen exchanged glances. They hadn't expected Zhang Yi to propose such terms. With Zhang Yi taking 80%, they'd be left with just 20%. After deducting transportation costs and various additional expenses, they had no idea how much would actually remain. Fine, I agree. While Zhao Sheng and Lu Wen were still hesitating, Su Jing stepped forward and agreed first. Mr. Su. Lu Wen urged Su Jinghua to reconsider. Agreeing too quickly wasn't wise. Su Jinghua glanced at him and explained, we're not in this for profit. Introducing this drug isn't it for the countless Alzheimer's patients in our country? This is fundamentally about serving the nation and its people, benefiting the citizens. If we were thinking about profit, where would our conscience be? His initial excitement stemmed from knowing that Alzheimer's patients in China could finally be saved. It had nothing to do with profit. Zhao Sheng and Lu Wen slapped their thighs. That's it. We're sorry, Mr. Su. The two apologized, suddenly realizing how narrow-minded they'd been. This kind of public service even without profit. No. Even if it means losing money, we should still do it. Otherwise, why would the country invest so much in support policies every year? To make money? No. Not only do they not make money, they actually lose money. But we still do it for the people. After all, the people are the foundation of a nation. Zhang Yi looked at Su Jinghua. A big shot is a big shot. Their approach to things is fundamentally different. They didn't rise to this position without reason. Additionally, without my personal authorization, the medication can only be sold within Longhua and must not be shipped overseas. No problem. Why export it when it's perfectly fine here? They want it. Su Jinghua wouldn't give it to them anyway. Nothing else for now. I'll let you know once I've thought it through. Pricing is something I'll need to discuss later. Su Jinghua nodded silently. Zhao Shang leaned in. Oh, there's something else. Would you mind discussing it? Go ahead. Zhao Kong gave an apologetic smile. It's about the formula for this medicine. Could you share it with us? You know how strong Longhua's industrial capabilities are. We could set up our own factory and produce this medicine ourselves. Oh, and don't worry, we'll split the profits 80-20, with you taking 80% and us 20%. Sounds good. This way, Zhang Yi wouldn't have to bear any costs. But, as a globally unique novel drug, it's currently only available in the Kingdom of Yamen. In any case, it remains a crucial bargaining chip. Zhang Yi has no intention of simply handing over this bargaining chip. He was also counting on it to make his first big profit. Therefore, he could only politely decline. I'm sorry, but I cannot agree to this. This is an internal secret of our Yamen kingdom, and it's the hard-won result of our researchers' arduous efforts and sweat. Zhao Shang wasn't giving up. The formula was a valuable asset. It could make Longhua the second country to master this new drug. But before he could speak, Su Jinghua cut him off. Enough. Don't press the matter. They've come from afar. If they're unwilling, we shouldn't force it. If it were Su Jinghua, he wouldn't lightly hand over such a crucial bargaining chip either. He knew it was pointless to argue with Zhao Shang. No need to waste time. Zhao Shang's face showed regret. But he could only let it go. Su Jinghua changed the subject. Overseas, many countries and corporations will likely seek partnerships with you. Remember to keep the formula strictly confidential, never let it slip. Those foreign businessmen? They're crafty. Zhang Yi had already anticipated this. Sure enough, the next day, Zhang Yi woke up, opened the game, and found his inbox flooded with partnership invitations from major corporations. Zhang Yi rejected them all without hesitation. Johnson & Johnson, Lilly, Sanofi, AstraZeneca, AbbVie, Novartis, Merck Company. These industry giants couldn't sit still. Johnson & Johnson, in particular. They held back-to-back meetings all night over this matter. They were Fortune 500 companies, leading pharmaceutical enterprises. How dare Zhang Yi refuse? Oder, boiling with rage, sent another email to Zhang Yi's side. Of course. Anger aside. Formal communication must remain professional. Your Majesty, King of Yamen, we understand you have developed a remarkable drug targeting Alzheimer's disease. Johnson Group is eager to collaborate with you. Please grant us this opportunity. Our group holds significant market share and standing in the global pharmaceutical industry. We are confident we will not disappoint you. He refused to believe he could be rejected again. He'd shown such sincerity and patience. Surely he'd agree at least once. A few minutes later, the other party declined your request and threw a dog at you. Aldo saw the reply. He nearly exploded with rage. When he met with other Western presidents, none had ever been so arrogant or treated him with such contempt. If you refuse to cooperate, don't blame me for not warning you. The consequences are yours to bear, Your Majesty. Chapter 120, still playing the threat card? I don't play nice. What's wrong with you? Still playing the threat card? Little did he know that when it came to soft and hard approaches, Zhang Yi was uniquely impervious to the hard one. Delete and block. Oder, having received no reply for so long, knew he'd been rejected again. Furious, he activated the second contingency plan they'd discussed earlier. He contacted the Lighthouse Nation and its numerous lackeys, demanding they impose sanctions on the Yamen Kingdom. He banned any country from importing his medicine. When the medicine couldn't be sold, Zhang Yi would reach out to them on his own. He paid no heed. Zhang Yi, on his end, contacted global media outlets to continue promoting the new Alzheimer's drug. This would further amplify the buzz. Countries with high Alzheimer's prevalence were filled with immense excitement. Damn it, I never imagined they'd actually develop this new drug. My grandfather has this disease and has been suffering for over 3 years. Not only does caring for him take up all my time and energy, but I can't even focus on my work anymore. Now there's finally hope. My father has it too. We used to be a family of 3, but now he doesn't even recognize himself. He's like a stranger. It's truly heartbreaking. I hope this drug enters mass production soon. Yemen has indirectly saved so many families. Yes, when one family member has this disease, the entire household loses its peace. Behind every case lies a shattered family. This is no exaggeration. Behind Alzheimer's disease lies the disintegration of countless families. In China alone, has over 17 million patients. Millions die from this disease each year. Indirectly, it places immense pressure on societies and economies worldwide. Drug development. This means saving millions of lives annually and sparing tens of millions from the torment of Alzheimer's disease. It is no exaggeration to call Zhang Yi a modern-day savior. Countries worldwide are eagerly awaiting the arrival of this drug in their nations. Zhang Yi contacted Yamen. He asked Charles to help register a pharmaceutical company, and he even had the name ready. It would be called Yamen Pharmaceutical Group. All drugs produced and sold thereafter would be shipped worldwide under this company's name. Zhang Yi planned to take the company public when the time was right. Johnson Group, a Fortune 500 company? Zhang Yi was confident. Who knows? Perhaps one day Yamen Pharmaceutical Company, Limited could surpass Johnson & Johnson of the United States. Become a Fortune 500 company, or even crack the top 300, top 100, or top 10. Because its pharmaceutical R&D department will continuously develop new products. This Alzheimer's drug they're developing has already captured so much attention, sparking global interest. What about next time? Zhang Yi received news just hours ago. The R&D department has successfully cracked Alzheimer's disease. Their next project is developing a drug for heart conditions. The development was successful. It can effectively treat various heart diseases and enhance cardiovascular function. Heart disease goes without saying. Alzheimer's primarily affects the elderly. But heart disease affects people of all ages. Once developed, how many lives could it save annually? What is the global market potential? Zhang Yi couldn't even begin to imagine. Anyway, whether it's Fortune 500 or not, it might intimidate others. But with Zhang Yi, they'd pick the wrong target. Oder, furious, approached the Lighthouse Nation demanding they revoke Zhang Yi's export license for pharmaceuticals. Considering the matter involved the Lighthouse Nation's interests, the responsible official agreed to Odell's demand. Simultaneously, they pressured other nations to join the boycott of Zhang Yi's pharmaceuticals. In an instant, media outlets worldwide urgently released various suggestive news reports. Lighthouse Nation, the so-called pharmaceutical miracle is nothing but rumor. Alzheimer's disease remains incurable, with no effective treatment currently available. Authorities confirmed this is a blatant scam. Eagle Nation, it has come to light that the media outlets promoting this so-called miracle drug all originate from Yemen. The underlying truth is deeply troubling. Baguette Nation, human lives are at stake. Alzheimer's should not be exploited as a sensationalist topic. White Flag Nation, exploiting terminal illnesses to grab attention and fabricate impossible medical miracles is utterly shameless. Netizens sensed something was amiss. This targeting is far too deliberate and blatant. As for the drug's actual efficacy, countless people watched the entire week-long livestream from start to finish. As the saying goes, the public's eyes are sharp. Sure enough, not long after, official authorities from various countries issued statements declaring. They stated that this drug from the Kingdom of Yemen had not undergone professional testing and therefore would be completely banned. Importation would not be permitted, nor would they permit their citizens to purchase it domestically. Everyone immediately erupted in outrage. The lighthouse nation issued a statement first. Other nations swiftly followed suit. It was obvious what was happening. This move wasn't just banning a drug, it was crushing the hopes of countless Alzheimer's patients in their own country. Damn it! This is utterly shameful. What right do they have to ban it? The results were plain to see. It was all live streamed. How could we not know if it worked? Hell. Did they fail to reach a profit agreement, resorting to such dirty tricks? It's utterly disgusting. I stand firmly opposed. Millions of patients in our country suffer from this disease, with tens of thousands dying each month. Why aren't we saving them? Do human lives mean so little to you? Where is the so-called human rights? I stand firm in my opposition. Many families have members suffering from this disease, watching hope get ruthlessly shattered. In an instant, people across the country gathered together, starting the same old routine seen abroad. Protest marches. Hordes of people raised protest banners, surged onto the streets in massive numbers, and vandalized public facilities. They set passing vehicles ablaze. They smashed and looted shops, and so on. Zhang Yi never imagined these people could be so out of control. Alright. Actually, if you regularly follow international news, you'll know that protests and demonstrations are quite common and popular over there. Because it's the best way to vent. The top officials in various countries never imagined such an outcome. Banning a single drug caused such an uproar? Clearly, they underestimated the impact Alzheimer's disease has on most people. The leadership of the lighthouse nation. Mr. President, this year the number of Alzheimer's patients in our country has risen from 3.5 million last year to over 5 million. 5 million patients. Behind each patient is a family. That's 5 million families. And each family has more than one member. The number of people directly affected is unimaginable. He seemed to understand why this matter has caused such an uproar and drawn so much opposition. The young secretary tentatively asked, Mr. President, how about we strike the ban list first? Obama was genuinely tempted. Upon closer examination, so many patients and families in the United States desperately needed the drug developed by Yemen. But to lift the ban immediately after imposing sanctions, where would his old face be placed? Where would the entire Beacon Nation's face be placed? Chapter 121, I'm on the hook, but there's no one left. As chaos erupted overseas, netizens in the Dragon Nation couldn't help but gloat, exclaiming, it's so good to be born in the Dragon Nation. The first country to release this drug is Dragon Nation. Even the Kingdom of Yemen is on the waiting list. Domestically, Alzheimer's patients are projected to reach around 20 million this year. Yemen's drug has directly saved 20 million families. Truly terrifying. It's practically a modern-day savior. I wonder what level of achievement this would be in ancient times. Need I say more? In ancient times, it would have saved tens of millions, enough to warrant a temple. Exactly. Not exaggerating, not tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, but tens of millions. 666. Hats off, hats off. Truly impressive. The King of Yemen is genuinely formidable. Under his leadership, medical advancements have progressed at such a terrifying pace. The high-ranking officials of the Dragon Kingdom were also delighted. Su Jinghua approached Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi, this afternoon I'd like to introduce you to someone. Oh? Who? Suffice it to say, they hold a position far above mine. You must take this seriously. Zhang Yi was taken aback. There weren't many people higher in status than Su Jinghua. Could it be? Su Jinghua wore a mysterious smile as he said, this dignitary just returned from abroad. Over half a year ago, he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. Upon learning of your work, he's been eager to meet you. Zhang Yi nodded. I see. If even Su Jinghua says so, then this person's status could probably be described like this. Others want to show off their own prowess. I've got powerful connections. But for this person? There's no one standing behind him. Zhang Yi had done his homework. After lunch at Yutanyan, since the guests hadn't arrived yet, Su Jinghua had several waitresses escort Zhang Yi on a stroll through the garden. The ancient-style courtyards. The garden scenery was refreshing and delightful. How delightful. Zhang Yi took a call. It was Charles calling. Earlier, Zhang Yi had instructed Charles to monitor the Kingdom of Yemen and establish a new pharmaceutical factory there. Charles was calling to report on the progress. It's expected to take over 3 months? Zhang Yi's expression darkened. Too slow. This new drug is currently at its peak demand. Once released, it could easily dominate the global market. Zhang Yi didn't want to wait that long. Boost the development speed with prestige points. On his phone, Zhang Yi shifted his focus back to the Yemen Kingdom, located the new factory under construction, and initiated the prestige acceleration. The original 3-month construction period was compressed to just 2 days. That should be fine for now. Charles, everything okay over there? Zhang Yi, having some free time, also inquired about the situation back home. All is well. Jiang Yi felt relieved, gave Charles a few parting instructions, and hung up. Just then, the important figure Su Jinghua had introduced to Jiang Yi finally arrived. Jiang Yi was ushered into the meeting room. Surrounded by bodyguards all over 6 feet tall, their expressions fierce. It seemed as though the moment they sensed any unusual movement around them, they would react instantly. In the center of the hall sat an elderly man who appeared to be in his 80s, frail and aged. He wore a worn-out Zhongshan suit. His brow held a commanding presence. He appeared quite extraordinary. Su Jinghua sat beside him. Mr. Chen, this is the king of Yamen. He's quite young, only around 20. Chen Yinyan's eyes widened in surprise. So young? He estimated that in China, someone of Jiang Yi's age would likely still be attending university. Hello, old Chen. Jiang Yi approached Chen Yunyan and bowed. Jiang Yi was essentially a citizen of Longhua. The elder had devoted his life to serving the Dragon Nation, remaining at his post even in his 80s and 90s. He was truly worthy of respect. Rise, rise. There's no need for such formality in my presence. Chen Yunyan smiled kindly. Not a trace of the airs one might expect from someone of his stature. I hear your Yamen kingdom has developed a new medicine? Yes, Elder Chen. I've brought it for you. Jiang Yi still had some left over from the previous shipment sent by the kingdom of Yamen. Holding the pills in his hand, Chen Yunyan examined them for a moment, then reached to return them to Jiang Yi. Master Chen, I know you suffer from this ailment too. Therefore, I offer this medicine to you free of charge, hoping for your swift recovery. Jiang Yi said sincerely. Free? No, that won't do. Chen Yunyan chuckled. Name your price, I'll buy it. Su Jinghua chimed in, Jiang Yi, just name your price. Old Chen has always been a man of principle, he doesn't accept gifts without reason. Alright then. A man of his stature certainly wasn't short on money, so Jiang Yi casually named a price. Only then did the other party send someone over to collect the pills. Jiang Yi. After receiving the pills, Chen Yunyan said sincerely, your choice of our Dragon Nation as your primary partner demonstrates your trust in us. I am deeply moved. In return, whatever your side lacks that we have here in Dragon Nation, we will do our utmost to assist. After this incident, Longhua and the Yamen Kingdom are now inextricably bound together. Jiang Yi didn't beat around the bush. It was clear that old Chen was a straightforward man, and being direct actually made both sides happy. Beyond what I mentioned earlier, seeking Longhua's help to improve our basic healthcare infrastructure, I also wish to deepen cooperation with Longhua in agriculture and education, transportation, light industry. Needless to say, previously, both sides had engaged in multiple collaborations, and no shortcomings had been identified thus far. We can address any issues that arise later. Last night, Jiang Yi gave it some thought. The only sectors currently lacking are agriculture and education. Beyond its reputation as a civil engineering powerhouse, it also holds another title, a millennia-old farming powerhouse. When it comes to cultivation, if Longhua claims second place, no other nation in the world dares to claim first. As the saying goes, food is the most important thing for the people. Jiang Yi cannot abandon agriculture, otherwise, future food security would depend on imports, leaving the nation vulnerable to external control. As for education, needless to say, since Longhua resolved to eradicate illiteracy, it has achieved major breakthroughs to date. The literacy campaign's results have been particularly remarkable. Partnering with the Dragon Nation on education is a wise choice. That godforsaken place used to be at war every day, filled with nothing but illiterate brutes who could barely read a word. That simply won't do. In a modern society, without education, development is impossible. Alright. Chen Yunyan agreed immediately. Jiang Yi's request wasn't unreasonable at all, it actually showed Chen Yunyan Jiang Yi's long-term vision. Most people seeking favors from the Dragon Nation would demand money or military supplies, things that could rapidly boost a country's strength. But Jiang Yi was different. He focused on the very foundation of a nation's development. With such far-reaching strategic vision, it was no wonder Yamen had flourished so remarkably under Jiang Yi's leadership. Next, the two engaged in detailed discussions about their nation's economies and how to counter the pressure from Western powers. Chapter 122, $2 million per set. Jiang Yi's bold moves in Longhua this time. It was obvious the Western nations wouldn't just sit idly by. Chen Yunyan was worried. The kingdom of Yamen would be cornered and unable to move under the Western nations' encirclement. But he hadn't anticipated that Jiang Yi would appear so relaxed about it, seemingly without a care in the world. He didn't know. Jiang Yi had already begun laying the groundwork to transform Yamen into a self-contained economic system. Such an economic entity, it could bypass Western nations and develop independently. Unlike isolationism. Isolationism meant turning a deaf ear to the outside world, ignoring everything happening beyond its borders. Jiang Yi, however, monitors the world while simultaneously advancing his own development, while pursuing a development path that minimizes economic dependence on other nations. This is also a key reason Jiang Yi established diplomatic relations with the Dragon Nation and cultivated strong ties. Because establishing such an economic system temporarily requires Longhua's assistance. Chen Yunyan was also concerned about another issue. He inquired about the aerial combat that occurred during Jiang Yi's recent visit to the Dragon Nation. Jiang Yi, though I don't know how you developed such formidable air power, I must tell you this, the advanced technology you possess, while you needn't share it with our Dragon Nation, must never be shared with foreign powers. I trust you're a smart man, you know full well who they'll target first once they develop it. Old Chen, even if they offered lives in exchange, I would never hand over the technology. Rest assured. Ha! Chen Yunian flashed his familiar, gentle smile. That's good. That's very good. He was just worried Jiang Yi might act rashly, handing over vital assets to others. He knew the Western nations well. Each one is cunning as a fox. Jiang Yi was clever, but one could never be too careful when cleverness might backfire. With Jiang Yi's promise secured, Chen Yunian felt reassured. Next, they chatted at length. Chen Yunian proved far more amiable than Jiang Yi had imagined, like a kind-hearted elder from home, radiating warmth and familiarity. It was hard to imagine someone of such high rank and power could adopt such an approachable demeanor. Meanwhile, Jiang Yi gradually impressed Chen Yunian through their conversation. Whether in his speech and demeanor, or the talent he displayed in military and strategic matters, Jiang Yi astonished him at every turn. He seemed nothing like a young man in his 20s. A mischievous thought inevitably crossed Chen Yunian's mind. Had he not drunk the mangpa soup cleanly in his previous life? Ah, right. Jiang Yeda remembered. The technology behind the Wind Shadow fighter jet cannot be shared with the Dragon Nation for now. But other technologies? Not necessarily off limits. For instance, the individual exoskeleton armor, Z-type portable rocket launchers, weapons and equipment that exceed current capabilities without being overly overpowered. Longhua has been developing a single soldier exoskeleton armor, right? How did you know? Chen Yunian looked at Jiang Yi in surprise. Oh, this information is actually widely known. Many netizens in Dragon Nation are speculating online. As a strategic weapon. Strategic weapon that instantly transforms ordinary people into superhumans upon wearing it. Not just in Longhua, Western nations have been secretly researching it extensively too. But for the time being, it hasn't yielded significant results. Therefore, it remains undisclosed. That's exactly right. Chen Yunian made no secret of it. What's the matter? Could it be that you have something over there? I have something here that might interest you. Jiang Yi released a test video of the single soldier exoskeleton armor. After watching it, Su Jinghua and Chen Yunian were both astonished. You developed this independently? Yes. Great, truly great. Any plans to sell it? After speaking, Chen Yunian realized his question was somewhat redundant. If Jiang Yi weren't planning to sell it, he wouldn't have brought it up in the first place. For sale. How much? This individual combat gear doubles the combat effectiveness of ordinary soldiers when worn. It also proves remarkably effective in complex terrain warfare. It proves remarkably effective. As long as the price isn't too outrageous, purchasing a batch to equip a special operations squad would be quite interesting. $2 million per unit. Jiang Yi spoke up. What? Everyone present froze upon hearing this, their expressions instantly turning grim. Did I hear that correctly? 2 million per unit? Yes, Mr. Chen. The R&D alone for this equipment cost us a fortune, and subsequent production is another huge expense. Material costs, processing fees, and all the other costs combined mean we're barely breaking even. Jiang Yi explained with utmost sincerity, our sale to the Dragon Nation is primarily to foster bilateral relations. Otherwise, I'd never have considered selling it. This statement sounded a bit disingenuous. But this is business, isn't it? The single soldier exoskeleton armor. Jiang Yi needed to exchange them for reputation points from the system store. Later, he could purchase the production rights outright, enabling autonomous manufacturing without further reputation costs. But the current cost? That's real money. Moreover, Jiang Yi has no intention of mass-producing the exoskeleton armor. Instead, he plans to sell it in limited quantities. This preserves the exoskeleton's scarcity, to prevent them from becoming commonplace products in the future. Old Chen, take a look at this. Jiang Yi produced the video footage he had previously provided to Hamas, showing their use of the exoskeleton suits in a surprise attack on Yisili. In the footage, Hamas fighters had completely transformed into battlefield dominators. Bolstered by the exoskeleton suits, Yisili's troops were routed into disarray. The battle was completely one-sided, tilted in Hamas' favor. Was that ambush really orchestrated by you behind the scenes? Chen Yunian knew about it. At the time, the international community was speculating about who was backing Hamas. Rumors circulated that it was the then Houthi forces, now known as the Yemeni Kingdom. Only now did Chen Yunian realize it was indeed Jiang Yi's doing. All he could say was, well done. Yisili, much like the Lighthouse Nation, was no good. Back to the main point. Chen Yunian was genuinely stunned by Jiang Yi's single soldier exoskeleton armor. Assisted targeting, battlefield scanning, thermal imaging tracking, and absolute physical reinforcement. This is just too overpowered. The combat effectiveness of these Sushi soldiers alone could rout Yisili's regular army. Imagine how absurdly powerful Dragon Nation soldiers would be if equipped with such exoskeleton armor. Chen Yunian admitted he was tempted. Could you offer a discount? Considering the 2 million yuan price tag per unit was indeed steep, Chen Yunian wanted to haggle. If you order a large quantity, we can offer a 20% discount. Jiang Yi offered a reasonable concession. If Longhua orders, they'll definitely want a large quantity. A slight price reduction would actually be more profitable. Alright, let's start with 50 units to test the waters. Chen Yunian gritted his teeth and placed a large order on the spot. If this exoskeleton suit proves truly effective, we'll consider a second purchase later. Chapter 123, Let the Great Scholars Defend My Teachings. Zhang Yi's eyes narrowed slightly. 50 sets. At $2 million per unit, 50 sets would amount to $100 million. Next, Zhang Yi presented the specifications for the Z-style portable rocket launcher, along with actual test footage. Chen Yunian watched and felt his heart stir once more. Had the military-industrial complex of the Yamen Kingdom truly advanced to this level? Accuracy, firepower, or range? It completely outclasses the Dragon Nation's current weapons of the same type. Oh, it was just luck on our part. We worked hard and happened to develop it. Chen Yunian's lips twitched. He almost bought Zhang Yi's nonsense. Was this really just luck? Knowing Zhang Yi was being modest, Chen Yunian dropped the subject and shifted focus to the collaboration. He asked for a price. Zhang Yi quoted a price. He bargained. The final deal was struck at $350,000 per unit. The market price for various portable rocket launchers is actually only a few $1,000s. The more expensive ones occasionally reach tens of thousands. So Zhang Yi selling them for $30,000 far exceeded the market price. But there was no other way. After all, Zhang Yi's Z-type portable rocket launcher outperformed all others in terms of performance. Chen Yunian's thinking was this. These were meant to be trump cards, not to be used lightly. When deployed, it would be for critical battles and pivotal moments. Having them and not using them were two entirely different concepts. Having such formidable weapons at his disposal offered a sense of reassurance. This discovery felt like Chen Yunian had unlocked a whole new world. He began relentlessly inquiring whether Zhang Yi possessed even more formidable military-grade products. Zhang Yi smiled. This was the moment he'd been waiting for. He proceeded to. He recommended numerous firearms and weapons developed at the armory Zhang Yi had previously established. Their performance would undoubtedly outclass anything currently on the market. Perfect timing. Chen Yunian was considering upgrading the weapons for domestic soldiers, retiring the outdated batch. With a sweeping gesture, he placed several more orders. Su Jinghua, standing nearby, couldn't help but remind Chen Yunian, worried he might buy too much. Chen Yunian, however, insisted. Weapons in your hands are never superfluous. There will always be a time when they come in handy. After all, how many nations are eyeing the Dragon Kingdom with covetous intent? By the end of the afternoon, Zhang Yi and Chen Yunian finalized numerous arms deals. Zhang Yi pledged to deliver all goods within 1 month. But collaboration between the two parties was highly satisfactory. One side strengthened its economy, while the other bolstered its military capabilities and upgraded its equipment, infrastructure and foundational development. Through this collaboration, they would gradually achieve comprehensive advancement for a long time to come. The next 2 days, Chen Yunian had someone take Zhang Yi sightseeing around the capital for 2 days. After all, he had come all this way. They certainly couldn't focus solely on business talks. Relaxation was also important. And while they were at it, they'd spread the word about Dragon Nation culture to the Yamen Kingdom. A week passed quickly. That evening, Zhang Yi boarded the same passenger jet he'd arrived on, escorted by Fengming fighter jets, and returned to Yamen overnight. This visit to the Dragon Kingdom proved highly fruitful. Overall, besides securing a major order, the Alzheimer's treatment drug generated immense buzz in the Dragon Kingdom. No sooner had Zhang Yi returned. The drug production facility was nearly completed at the same time. Zhang Yi couldn't wait to visit the pharmaceutical plant. All production lines were ready, capable of fully automated integrated manufacturing. Manual labor was still required. Yet this vast facility, spanning over 10,000 square meters, required fewer than 20 people to complete the entire pharmaceutical process. In such matters, fewer people were better. Because it involves confidential matters, the manufacturing methods must not be disclosed. Zhang Yi considered the matter. For security's sake, he decided to deploy the special forces rewarded by the system to replace the workers. Your Majesty, should we set production quotas? The factory manager approached Zhang Yi. Theoretically, the factory can operate 24 hours a day without interruption, achieving a terrifying daily production capacity. Proceed with maximum daily capacity for now. Given the first export to the Dragon Kingdom and the high demand, more is certainly better. The more exported, the more profit earned. It's a simple truth everyone understands. However, production may need to be controlled later on. Otherwise, oversupply could drive prices down. Zhang Yi will maintain a balance where market demand remains strong. But people should still be able to buy it without paying too high a price. For many people, this is a life-saving product. Deliberately creating artificial scarcity for profit is tantamount to murder. Zhang Yi doesn't consider himself a good person, but he still possessed a basic sense of conscience. He wouldn't profit from ill-gotten gains. At least toward Longhua, Zhang Yi held a sense of national sentiment. As for foreign countries, depends on his mood. The pharmaceutical factory began production, and Zhang Yi shared this good news with Su Jinghua. Su Jinghua, thrilled, immediately relayed this news across the entire nation. The entire Dragon Nation erupted in cheers. Wonderful! Elderly family members suffering from this disease will finally be spared their torment. Yes, we've waited so long for this day. My grandfather finally has a chance. Ever since he got sick 3 years ago, our whole family has worried about him every day. We even had to hire a caregiver to watch him around the clock who knows how much money we've spent over the years. From now on, if you don't worship Jesus, you'll worship the King of Yamen. Ha, no need for that, buddy. This matter It quickly topped the trending charts in the Dragon Kingdom. News leaked overseas. It sparked even greater public outrage. Originally, many overseas patients could rely on Yaman's drugs to recover.